We are currently in Cusco, Peru, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and former capital of the Inca Empire. And after spending a full day exploring all around the city's cobblestone streets, ancient ruins, and trying local eats, today we're visiting the Sacred Valley, a mountainous river valley in the Andes filled with beautiful scenery, Spanish colonial villages, and important cultural sites. And to experience it, we booked a one-day Sacred Valley tour with AB Expeditions, which will take us to some of the region's best spots.
This is our guide Rosbel. He's going to be taking us all around today, and we made it to our first stop of the day, the district of Chinchero.
Chinchero was once home to the palace of an Inca emperor before being destroyed by the Spanish. Today, you can see the influence of both the Spanish and the Inca with colonial buildings built on top of Inca ruins, plus various Inca agricultural terraces. The area boasts some of the most fertile soil in the Sacred Valley, and potatoes, quinoa, and fava beans are just some of the many crops grown here. But besides its Inca history and agriculture, Chinchero is also believed to be the mythical birthplace of the rainbow. Not only can you often see rainbows arching over the nearby fields during the rainy season, but the town is also known for its colorful textiles. And this morning we're going to learn all about how they're made.
My name is Chaska. Welcome to Chinchero.
The process starts with the wool. Sheep, llama, and alpaca wool are used in Peru, with each having a different texture and purpose. We even got to meet a few of them at the textile center. After the wool is sheared from the animal, it is cleaned using a detergent made from this root.
This community, the people, we don't have gray hair because we use only this root. We don't need that chemical shampoo.
Oh,
I should switch to that then.
Yeah. If you gray hair, it's too late. Yeah, because the root we use very young.
After the wool is cleaned, the fibers are dried before being spun into yarn. This is done manually using a spindle and is learned at a very young age.
We learning from 7 years old.
And can be done while performing a variety of tasks.
Dancing, playing, cooking, walking, singing, kissing my husband, kissing my boyfriends. No.
Then it's time to dye the yarn. And the traditional way to do this is by using natural products, like plants, bugs, flowers, and herbs, plus acids like salt and lime juice to modify the color.
We use the salt from us to change the color, yeah? Look. You can see? To change that color, yeah? Look at it.
Gosh.
After the wool is the right color, it is dried before the warping process begins, which is usually done with 2 to 3 people. This is when the yarn is stretched over a wooden frame to keep it in place during the final step of weaving. Weaving is when the different patterns and designs come to life, with the final touch being a special border around the piece, which is unique to Chinchero textiles. At the end of the tour, you are expected to buy something, so come prepared, but we can't think of a better souvenir to buy while in Peru.
We just got a beautiful table runner for my mom for her birthday.
Happy birthday! Hope you like it.
Yeah.
So we are doing this tour on a Sunday, which wasn't really intentional, it just happened to be the day that worked best for us. But I'm so glad we did because there's just more going on in the towns on Sunday, including the local market.
Trying an humita. It's corn?
It's corn.
Wow, it's like a bread. It tastes like bread.
Oh yeah.
A little sweet from the corn. Very good.
Oh yeah, it looks just like bread in a corn husk. Tastes just like cornbread.
Yeah.
That is so good.
The scenery on this drive has been incredible. The mountains out here are huge and they're so pointy. It's getting me so excited to get all up in them really soon.
And after 40 minutes of driving past farmlands, mountains, small villages, and even getting stuck in a little traffic jam, we made it to our next stop, Moray. Moray is an archaeological site known for its series of circular terrace depressions that resemble an amphitheater, but there is so much more to this site than meets the eye. Moray was the greenhouse for the Incas and was believed to have been used as an agricultural research station. The terraces span over a total height of 150 meters and represent different microclimates, which allowed the Inca to experiment with different crops and farming techniques. One of the crops they grew here were potatoes, and because of their ability to experiment and create hybrids, Peru is now home to thousands of varieties. But besides agricultural experimentation, Moray is also known for having an intricate irrigation system. Even during hard rains in the wet season, Moray never floods. There are canals carved into the stone walls that allow water to flow between the terraces, as well as evidence of an underground water draining system.
One thing that is just blowing my mind at all these sites today is just how smart and innovative the Inca were and how they just utilized the land. They were able to build these terraces and figure out that if they put some crops higher up and some lower, they could figure out which grew best in which scenarios. And then they built these channels to get water from miles and miles away. And then at the textile center, just figuring out which plants would be best for dyeing. It's just so impressive just how much they were able to figure out without all the modern day tools that we have now.
The scale of these sites, like this place here is absolutely massive, Sacsayhuaman, massive, and to even have this laboratory do what they want, they had to bring the soil from up in the highlands to be able to test, the potatoes in the right environment. Man, can you imagine just having like huge things of, soil on your back? And I don't even know how they would do it.
Carrying those rocks?
Yeah, building the Sacsayhuaman and the fortresses and carrying all these rocks, like, I guess all they had was just time,
and muscles.
And muscles.
We have made it to the stop that I've been most excited for, Salinas de Maras, or the Maras salt mines.
This is absolutely massive. Holy cow. Pictures do not do Peru justice. Everything is bigger in real life.
The Maras salt mines date back to pre-Inca times and are made up of multi-level terraces with thousands of salt ponds, which are owned by local families and can produce 150 to 200 kilos of salt per month. These ponds are fed by an underground hypersaline spring that originated 110 million years ago during the formation of the Andes Mountains. And as the water evaporates under the sun, salt crystals are left behind, which are then harvested in 3 layers. The first layer is pink salt, the second is white table salt, and the third is brown salt for industrial use. I just love the contrast of all the different colors and textures and shapes. It's just like a grid out here with all these different geometric shapes filled with water, filled with salt, and they're all different colors, so all next to each other. It just looks so cool. And then throw in the epic mountain backdrop, and this is just one of the neatest views I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like this. And we're feeling so lucky right now because apparently you don't always get to see people out here working. It just kind of depends on what time you show up. And there are quite a few people working, so we're getting to see the process in action.
One of my favorite things about this tour has been traveling between the different sites and going through the villages and just seeing the daily life, and this is another awesome example of that. We got some chocolates as well as some salt from just over there.
Yeah, we couldn't come here and not get
some salt. And then also some smoked salt, which I've never had, and we got to try some, and it's super tasty.
Get one of these. This is amazing.
We made it down to Urubamba, which is the capital of the Sacred Valley, and it's lunchtime. We got taken to this awesome buffet restaurant, and the buffet is actually my favorite way to eat. There are so many choices, and it all looks so freaking good.
That's just one plate.
Yeah, that's just one plate.
We also have this plate, and we have a salad because vegetables.
Whatever this beef stew is.
I think I'm in actual heaven right now. The plates were getting so heavy because I was loading them up. And we haven't even gotten dessert yet. There's a whole dessert table, 2 tables, coffee. Haven't even touched that yet.
I'm so happy. This is the best.
You're gonna like that one.
Why is it cheesy? Garlic?
Cheesy and garlicky, yeah.
Eso se modifica sin penalidad, sin nada. Es decisión de ustedes. Intenten.
For our final stop on the tour, we're visiting a famous set of ruins in the Sacred Valley, Ollantaytambo.
Ollantaytambo comes to be one of the most important sites of the Sacred Valley. It is not because of its size, it is not because of the architecture what we see nowadays. There is another reason. The conquistadors were stopped over here by the Incas, so they couldn't go farther on the way to the jungle. On that way, they couldn't find the sites which are after this.
In fact, Ollantaytambo was one of the few times the Incas won a battle against the Spanish. And as we explored the ruins, we got to see some of the defense mechanisms, like guardhouses and storehouses located high up in the mountains to protect items from enemies. But beyond being an important military center, it was also an important agricultural center, with many terraces which seemed taller than any we had seen so far.
Big step. There are lots of stairs here. But it is evident that Ollantaytambo was still under construction before it was abandoned. In multiple areas, you can see that half of the wall is smooth and polished, while the other parts of the wall are still rough. And you can still see knobs on the boulders, which would have been used to help the Inca transport them. There are so many details like this, which we would have never noticed or understood without Rosebell. Like a fun feature on the 10 niches.
Apparently, if I stand right here and talk, it'll sound different than if I talk in here. Hello? Woo! Hello, hello. That's cool.
Hello, hello, hello.
Or the wall of the 6 monoliths in the Temple of the Sun, which has a faint Andean cross on the rock as well as a puma.
I can't say it enough how impressive it is, the smarts and the ingenuity the Inca people had to have to build such large structures across such vast distances.
And they also picked such stunning locations to build all of this in. The ruins themselves are so cool to explore on their own, but then combine that with the scenery we've had around us. A bug just flew in my mouth, but amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Muchas gracias.
That was such a fun day trip, and I think what I loved the most about it was just the variety of the things that we got to see and experience. Every spot seemed a little bit different than the previous ones. We got to see the textiles, the salt mines, the ruins, different towns, and then just
That's not gunshots.
I knew that was gonna happen when we were doing that. I guess people in Cusco just like love to randomly shoot off fireworks, and it sounds like bombs or gunshots, which is a little alarming, and then you find out that's not what it is.
I read that they do it for anything like celebrations, like, you know, religious events, just whatever.
It scares me every time.
Early this morning, now we're hearing it late
It's
tonight.
all hours too, yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Anyways, what I was saying is you get to experience a lot of different things, and it just made the day a lot of fun and kept it very interesting. And I'd highly recommend this day trip if you want to be acclimatizing to the higher altitude and just to get to see more than just Machu Picchu, because everyone that comes to Peru goes to Machu Picchu, but this just gave us the chance to experience more of the area. And while it was very busy, lots of tourists, especially because it was Sunday, it still felt like an area that not everyone goes to.
And we have to give a huge shout out to our guide, Rosebell. We learned so much from him. He was so friendly and just so knowledgeable.
He's the best.
Yeah, he was awesome. And then also our driver, Fernando. That guy is a champion. And driving these roads in Peru is just wild. I mean, we thought Cusco was crazy, and it is, but then like going out on these mountainous roads, there's potholes everywhere, there's dogs probably darting in and out, and there's all kinds of stuff going on.
Windy and mountainous and narrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being in a car in Peru is
part of the experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, Fernando was the real MVP today.
But if you want to book this tour, we'll put a link to the tour that we booked in the description. AB Expeditions offers 3 different itinerary options to choose from for a day trip to Sacred Valley, and we chose option B. And what we loved about them is that they keep their groups small. We did not intend to have a private tour today. We did not book a private tour, but it ended up being a private tour, which was super awesome, especially when we saw all the other tour groups that were huge. It was just really nice to have kind of that one-on-one with the guide and get to ask all of our questions. And yeah, it worked out awesome.
Well, we've made it back to Cusco, and tomorrow we're gonna be resting up and preparing to hike the Salcantay trek, which is gonna take us to Machu Picchu.
Woo!